Welcome back to Megaman 11. And
Megaman,
this upcoming stage.
I made a breakthrough. I can now create.
Well, first I gotta
items
check and see what
for
the
you.
new upgrades are, even though I can't afford anything.
Mega?
Yeah,
The
since I
angel's
got
doing some
a whole
parts.
bunch. Since I got a whole bunch of weapon energy and life energy and stuff, I have an upgrade to the Energy Balancer, which Energy Balancer Neo, which is the best new addition to this game ever. Energy Balancer Neo, once you buy it, well, first off, let me show you the order that we're going in next. Next up, we are going to Bounce Man, who, fun fact, in the Japanese version also had a different name. He was known as Rubber Man, which I guess is maybe a subtle reference to Luffy from One Piece. I'm not sure. But the Energy Balancer Neo is the same as the regular, and is basically the Energy Balancer, but it goes to every weapon that has lost energy, not just the one with the least amount. So if you pick up a weapon capsule, all of your weapons get that much energy back. It's amazing, and if they ever make a Mega Man 12, that better come back. So this is Bounce Man's level, and I'm going to be completely up front here. This was heavily edited down because I didn't die a lot from here, no, but I had a lot of difficulty with certain sections of this stage, so I'm just gonna be up front and say we're only doing one stage of this video. So the gimmick for this level, as Bounce Man's name would imply, is that you can bounce off of these rubber bouncy balls. I do love the music for this level. It's very happy and, dare I say, bouncy and cheery. And then you have this gimmick where you shoot down this hand and then it'll slap you across the stage. It's a lot more difficult to aim than you think, honestly. And here's why this stage can get frustrating. When you go into a room like this, you can do nothing but bounce. You can't just stand completely still, so it makes aiming kind of a pain in the butt. You can't really do much about it. Well, in terms of the Mega Buster, if you really want, you can just go full ham and use stuff like Block Dropper, that'll help, but still, it's disorienting when you're bouncing all over the place like this. Case in point right here. Now, you can adjust how high you will bounce off of these balls as long as you hold down the jump button. It's very similar to Springman's level in Mega Man 7. Just imagine if the entire stage of Springman was nothing but bouncy springs. That's basically what Bounce Man's level is. But see, and then right here, like you bounce off the walls, and you can't really predict where enemies are going to be on screen, and because of the way you're bouncing, you're more than likely going to bounce into enemies. Now, you can get around this by using stuff like the powered-up acid barrier. I don't know if that necessarily is strong enough to get through this, though, because as you're seeing right here, even the Power Gear Block Dropper isn't enough to get rid of those balloons. I think you can only get rid of it with the regular charge shot. There's also an extra life down there. Honestly, I'm not entirely sure how you're supposed to get that. Maybe you're supposed to use Rush Jet later on? I don't know. But it seems to be in a really awkward place to actually be there. And since you can buy extra lives for pretty cheap in the store, it really doesn't matter. And then there's these enemies where every time you shoot them, they just bounce all over the place. Now, what you're seeing, I'm still trying to get the speed gear upgrade, so I'm going to keep spamming the speed gear just to get that to show up in the shop. So, yeah. But then, see here, there's more stuff like, man, if anything, this playthrough is making me realize just how good Block Dropper actually is in this game. Because, man, does it cover a lot more room. It covers so much more ground than I thought. Normally, I'm one of those people that saves the special weapons for bosses and stuff, but man, some of the special weapons in this game are just so darn good. I mean, why risk I mean, like, why risk bouncing on something that's gonna alter where you're shooting in the first place? Oh, also the pile driver can get rid of those those spikes. That's what those are normally called. I assume that's what they're called in this game too. But see there, that's the kind of thing that can happen in this game, in this stage. Is you can't really control where you're bouncing when you do a high bounce, and sometimes you need to do a high bounce in order to cross gaps. So you do a high bounce to try and get over a wall, and then you end up bouncing into another one, which bounces you backwards, and then you fall, and then you gotta climb all the way back up here. In fact, I cut a lot of my getting stuck traveling up and around places in this run because most of my time in this place was spent just kind of bouncing all over the place and not going in the right direction. So I didn't want to have I didn't want to have like a 39-minute video where 18 minutes of it was just me bouncing left and right, not going anywhere, you know? So it'll make the video a little bit shorter, but is that worse than seeing me fumble around for an extra 12 minutes? I think not. So anyway, we're coming up to the mini boss here, and he's super weak to pile driver, if you can hit him, that is. So it's this giant frog balloon, but you know the pile driver just gets rid of it so fast. I should have saved that for later so I could show you how that works, but we'll be coming up to another fight with that soon. Now this part's annoying. If you remember, what was that stage? Plant Man stage in Mega Man 6. It's very similar to this. Although I will say that the springs in Plant Man stage were a little easier to control than the bouncy balls in this, or harder to control. I'm sorry. It was easier to control your bounce in this game compared to Mega Man 6, which is why I still think Plant Man stage in Mega Man 6, while not that hard, is still the hardest of the 8 Robot Master stages in 6, and that's not saying too much. Also, with the powered-up acid barrier, you can miss your jump, apparently. Yeah, see, I still kept in some of my failures here. The powered-up acid barrier gets rid of those enemies that pop out of the pits super easily. Otherwise, those things come out and just push you to the side, and they'll either push you back onto the bouncing balls, which is what you want them to do, or they'll just gimp your jump entirely, and then you fall in the pit and die anyway. So yeah, those things are annoying, and they keep respawning. They don't go, like... At least I think they keep respawning even after you destroy them. But yeah, this is very similar to the fish area in Plant Man stage, except, as I mentioned before, at least for me anyway, it feels easier to control where you're moving on these bouncy balls as it was for the springs in that stage. That doesn't make this any less frustrating. No, it's still annoying, but it could be worse. And then I decided to be an idiot and try to use the acid barrier to get rid of that there. That was my mistake. You can also use the pile driver to get rid of these ball enemies instantly. Gee, I wonder what Bounce Man's weakness is. Let's wonder why I'm coming here. I do love the music for this level, though. It's fitting and unfitting for a Mega Man stage at the same time. It's hard to really explain. Like, is this supposed to be like a... If this is supposed to be like a theme park, then yeah, it makes sense. Also, I was grinding a little bit to try and get health. As you can see, I didn't do a very good job of getting health because, dang, is my HP low. I was trying to grind for weapon and ended up taking forever to get it, and then realized that my health was super low and decided, screw it. So I cut ahead. But yeah, because of the orbs and stuff, but yeah, I made a huge mistake. I shouldn't have been trying to grind for health there anyway. I'm not dead, but I'm close to it, so. Also, those party balloons, those can hurt you. And the only way to get rid of them is with a Mega Buster shot. So So yeah, and so here I'm trying to get rid of enemies like that shield attacker back there, because I know it's gonna hit me. I just know it is. So, But see, as you can see there, Block Dropper didn't get rid of the balloons. I have to get rid of those with charge shots, which can be very frustrating to aim, especially right here. So again, this is why I edited down a bunch of stuff. This just takes forever. Normally it doesn't, I don't know why. But see, this is the thing about this level that a lot of people have difficulty with, is controlling the angle of where you're bouncing can be kind of a pain in the ass. Especially when you're trying to get energy tanks and stuff. So I'm sorry for all the random jump cuts, but that took way longer than it needed to be. Thankfully, though, they give you a free health upgrade right after that. It's still... I could still say that the stage overall is still pretty simple, it's just... it can be tedious and frustrating on occasion. Well, now we got the frog enemy again, but now you're... Now the floor is all bouncy. That's the only change about this. It's the exact same fight as before, except now you're bouncing everywhere, making it harder to aim. So, again, if you use Pile Driver, you can get rid of it super quick. I'm trying to conserve it for the actual boss, but sometimes... This is why I was saying maybe I should have saved it for this one instead of the first fight, but what are you gonna do? I'll just go off and use, regular shots and speed up and stuff. Would have gone faster if I did it the other way. Oh well, at least we're at the save point. Something I didn't mention, whenever you're at a checkpoint, there is a little flag in the bottom left corner that'll show up that'll indicate that you hit a checkpoint. I don't think I mentioned that before, but that's another new thing that they added for this game. Which is nice, because there's been a lot of Mega Man games where you can never really tell if you hit a checkpoint or not. So it's nice to know that you're at a checkpoint, as opposed to assuming you're at one and then you die and then you find out, nope, I didn't hit a checkpoint, and now I'm all the way back at the beginning of the stage again. That's frustrating. And now everything's nighttime because we were climbing forever. I do like the aesthetic for this level though, because I'm a sucker for nighttime stages when the passage of time you can actually tell changes during the stage. I like little details like that. So now we're doing the same gimmick as getting up here before, but now we have bottomless pits. So basically that's the only thing else that's changed. Again, a powered up acid barrier helps a lot in this section, because then you don't have to worry about taking damage from things. I'm sitting here trying to hope that I get life energy so that I don't have to worry about, dying, but sometimes I take too long to do things when I shouldn't have to. So like right here, I'm pretty sure the developers were smart enough with that, because they have this spot right here where you can easily farm for health, and then up here is the last half of the stage, where once again you're just climbing up and getting to... Ow! Again, the angle of where you bounce can be kind of annoying. What can you do? So the goal for this part is to get all the way to the top and then drop down on that spring so you can shoot up to the right side of that platform there. You can't just go up there normally. And this is where I was getting kind of nervous, because I see my health there and I'm just like, what do I do? Oh boy. Should I? I don't know why. I have this aversion to using E-tanks, I guess, sometimes. Or I just forget that I have them and don't want to, and don't think about it. There I go. Now I remember I have E-tanks. Yay. So you're going to want to drop down here, hit the spring, and then go all the way to the right. And now you have another nice farming spot right here. If you're lucky enough for these things to drop what you want them to drop. Because it's on such a narrow passageway, I would suggest not doing what I'm doing, but I'm trying to refill my... I'm trying to refill my pile driver before I go to Bounce Man. That's why I'm still here. And sometimes that just doesn't work out. There we go. So yeah, I just jump cut there. There's supposed to be balloon enemies there. I just cut ahead to me getting rid of them because all it does is make me have to climb up that ladder again and drop down where you just saw me, so no point in showing that off. I was right where I needed to be anyway. And hey, now I get something to refill my pile driver when I don't need it. Anyway, let's go on to Bounce Man. Again, Bounce Man is going to... Again, Bounce Man, I can say, is probably one of the easier robot masters.
Let's get hopping!
Okay, so Bounce Man, he's going to bounce around the room, and every once in a while he will extend his arm to punch you. And if you hit him with the pile driver, he splits apart and bounces all over the place. And in order to damage him, you have to damage his body while he's bouncing around. Typically, it occasionally makes... Some people might think that using his weakness actually makes him more difficult, which I can kind of see, but if you're not reckless like me, you can just kind of ram through him constantly and he'll go down no problem. He does use the speed gear if you let him live long enough, and then he bounces around even faster, and then he starts... if you don't hit him with the pile driver, he will use his special weapon, which is what we're going to be getting right now. So I will let the screen explain that for you. So we got the Bounce Ball. So Bounce Ball is basically what the Triple Blade was in Mega Man 10, except when you use the power gear, you shoot 6 of them, 3 on each side, and then they bounce all over the screen, and it clears the stage real fast.
Is something wrong?
The double gear system. It was so very long ago. It was on that day, Wily and I had our falling out. He quite literally threw a wrench in our gears. We were students then, each pursuing robotics research in our own way. Each of us was passionate about forging the way ahead to a future where humans and robots might live together in harmony. By giving robots independent thought, they can be true partners to humankind at last.
Naive as always. Even robots that think for themselves will never be anything more than tools. But with unstoppable power, insurmountable speed, it's only when we build robots with the power to outdo humans that people will truly accept robots for what they are. And with my double gear system, we can make that dream a reality. With this installed, any robot can instantly become a hero!
However, I was strongly opposed to Wily's ideas and research. The double gear system, it puts an incredible strain on the robots that use it. And if it fell into the wrong hands, it could be used to cause terrible harm. At the time, a committee was convened, and Wily's research was cancelled in favor of my independent thought research. Wily never forgave me, and his views have grown ever more extreme since then. How ironic that my efforts to quench Wily's hot-headedness before it led him astray only ended up fueling the fire.
Doctor, I never knew.
If only I'd shown him there was a way to work together, instead of just telling him that he was wrong. Maybe we'd still be friends.
A way to work together.
Even the double gear system can be a tool for good, if used properly. But using it properly requires proper judgment. Wily's dream of developing technology to make any robot into a hero could become reality if used by you. I'm trusting you, Megaman. Oh, I almost forgot something very important. I've just finished giving Rush a good tune-up. He's all ready to head out with you. Rush! Rush, help Megaman and keep him safe. Be a good boy now.
We've got this, Rush. Okay, let's go.
Your explanation on RushJet. No, so RushJet works the same way as it always does. You jump on it,
I've made a breakthrough. I can
and you
now
fly
create
forward,
new
and you
items
can
for
move
you.
up or down.
Yo,
So you hit the opposite
interest you
button
in some
that
parts?
does the rush coil, and you can summon RushJet instantly. But yeah, so that's their explanation as to why Wily started hating Light. He just kind of shut down his idea without even consoling him about it. Just said he was instantly just saying that his idea was not good. And be like, yeah.
Sure this is what you
Now,
want, buddy?
to be fair,
And there you
Wiley
have
was
it.
probably going to
All
use it to be
complete.
evil anyway, but they're trying to
Okay, Mega.
they're trying to
what
make
do
him a sympathetic villain, which is fine. It's new lore for the
Mega.
series. Anyway, what I
Interest you
bought
in
there
some
was the upgrade to the speed gear. So when you use speed gear, now you move at your regular speed while everything around you moves slower. Which is going to be very helpful for a stage later on. That is probably my least favorite stage in the game, but that's thankfully not the next stage we're going to be doing. So tune in next time when we go to Fuse Man. I'll see you guys then.